Without further ado, I can't wait for you to hear more about Loop. It's effectively a startup, as you'll hear, but with some very interesting backing. And Blandine Surry leads its efforts across Europe. Before that, she was at Kraft and then Danone, and now she has a fascinating job ahead. So if I could welcome to our Net Zero session, Blandine. Good morning, Blandine. Are you there?
Good morning, Holly.
Good morning. I should say bonjour.
Bonjour. How are you today?
I'm very well indeed. It's lovely to see you. Now, Blandine, I am familiar with the extraordinary work that you're doing, in a way reinventing recycling. Tell us what you're doing at Loop.
Yes. So let me go back a step to explain how the idea of Loop was born. Over the past 100 years, waste, including plastic waste, has grown exponentially. And Rachel touched about, this climate emergency that it's created. And unfortunately, a huge part of this waste ends today in landfill or in the ocean. And to the point that the Ellen MacArthur Foundation predicted that by 2050, there would be more plastic waste than fish actually in the ocean. I think for many of us, this is really a wake-up call that we have to tackle this waste crisis. And after many years of our mother company, TerraCycle, operating in the recycling business, we've come to the conclusion that recycling on its own would not actually solve this waste crisis. There was no chance. And we needed to tackle the waste crisis at its root cause by actually creating an alternative to single-use packaging. That's how Loop was born. So essentially, Loop is the first global zero-waste platform offering consumers some of their favorite products and brands in reusable containers. We partner on one hand with those big manufacturers and brands like P&G, Unilever, Nestlé, Danone, to help them shift from disposable to durable packaging. And on the other hand, we partner with major retailers to distribute those products, like Tesco in the UK, in France, and others worldwide.
Right, so I want to get this crystal clear for our viewer. It reminds me a little bit when I was a boy of the milkman who would deliver things and pick them up, and then I was in charge of, my parents at the time were in charge of rinsing them out. But let's ignore that for a second. Let's be clear. As a customer, I go to Loop or to Tesco?
Yes, so I think you're absolutely right in referencing the milkman. Loop is reinventing the milkman in a very modern way. What it takes off the milkman is the idea that the packaging is an asset. It's not to be wasted. When now concretely, if you want to join Loop today in the UK, the platform that we'll be launching in a few weeks will be loopstore.co.uk. So what you have to do is you'll register your interest on this platform. In a few weeks, when the platform goes live, you will be able to order Loop products. They will be delivered to your doorstep in a Loop container, a Loop bag, which is like the one you see behind me. You will enjoy your products as if, like your normal products. But instead of basically throwing the containers into your trash bin, you would actually put them back into the Loop bag.
I got it.
And they will be collected by your delivery man at the same time, often as he brings back your next order.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. Thank you, Blandine, for clarifying. So other than wanting to do my bit for the planet, what's in it for me? Why would I switch to Loop in our lifestyles? We're busy, we're looking at the pennies. What's in it for me?
Yes, it's a very good question. There are several benefits to Loop. Obviously, the first one is very aligned to our purpose and mission to eliminate the idea of waste. So the first benefit of that is to indeed actually choose a waste-free word. And many consumers we know want to do that. Yeah. So by buying Loop, you will significantly reduce actually the amount of waste, packaging waste that you create as a consumer. Yeah. And after several years, it will also have a positive impact on CO2 emissions, which is very important for you as a consumer, but for our brand partners and our retailer partners. So that's the first benefit. The next one is that, by shifting the ownership of the packaging from consumers back into the brands, Loop has unlocked a great area, a possibility of innovation in terms of design, in terms of new functionalities. So think actually your beverage, which will not be delivered in a PET bottle, but in a glass bottle that you can put on your table and enjoy the taste, or a stainless steel ice cream container that you can, that will keep your ice cream frozen if you're going to picnic, for example.
I see. So that's a good benefit. And in terms of the bottom line, Blandine, will I be expected to pay a bit more for helping the planet?
Yes. So our aim is that we meet basically consumers where they are. What that means is that disposability had two major benefits. Let's face it. The first one is affordability. You touched it. And then the second one is convenience. Yeah. We want Loop to be as convenient and as affordable in time to our consumers. So convenience, we've described the model. I think we're nearly there. It's not a big change to the consumer habits. If you're an e-commerce shopper, you'll do pretty much the same, except that you'll bring back, send back your empties. In terms of price, we are partnering with brands to make sure that the brands actually invest into Loop in that infancy, pilot phase where we don't have the volumes that allows us to drop our operational costs, so that the price points are actually as comparable as possible to the disposable version of the product.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've not got enough time with you for now, Blandine, but I've got some very quick fire questions, because actually this concept isn't completely new. You've had some progress around the world. Just very briefly summarize that to date, I believe, in France, perhaps the US.
Yes. So there were two platforms, pilot platforms that were launched actually in France and in the US in May 2019. The purpose of those platforms was very much a test and learn exercise to allow brands to test the durable supply chain that Loop offers, and to also allow them to get response from consumers on how they like the reusable containers and how that works for them. This has been a great success in the sense that we are now in a position to expand nationally in the US, from New York and New Jersey into the full of the US. And then in France, we are actually transitioning from that e-commerce model into our retailers' e-commerce system, so that we can scale up again. Mm-hmm. And then from September onwards, we will also launch in-store. So this pilot phase has really allowed us to prepare for the scaling up. Yeah. In the meantime, we have more than 150 manufacturers, 400 brands, which have joined the platform. So there is a very positive momentum for sure.
Very good. That's a huge number of brands. Congratulations. Now, what do you think, and I'm going to bring you, reintroduce you later on in the session, Blandine, but what do you think the single biggest challenge Loop will face over the next 12 months will be?
I think that, it's true that we are still in our infancy stage, and you've touched the fact that we are still a startup. So as we basically work with our brand partners, which were, early adopters for many of them, and I have a strong belief in the opportunity of Loop and how we can scale up, we're going to have to work with them on really scaling up that model, and what it means actually from a financial perspective for them and for Loop. So the key challenge will be to actually, in the next 12 months, project the operational costs and make sure that this model is actually scalable for us and for them.
Excellent. Well, I've got loads more questions for you. I'm sure our audience will too. And by the way, some fantastic video footage of Loop. If you go on YouTube and look for Loop Store, for example, you'll see a really nice conceptual video just to explore it more. And just remind us of your URL, Blandine, so we can dig around a bit more.
So loopstore.co.uk is the platform that will be soon live in the UK. You've got if you're in France, myboutiqueloop.fr. If you're in the US, loopstore.com.
Very good. Well, Blandine Surry, please stay within the session. We'll bring you back on stage very shortly. But for now, thank you very much.